aroma.
It is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed when the night has been too lonely.
Man, that was
I was
great.
hoping that y'all.
I had chills.
Oh, did you? Really?
Were you doing the Family Guy version?
I
or
was
the
waiting for you to come
Oh my
in.
God, why didn't I?
I was
like,
hoping you were gonna come
I'm like,
in.
maybe he sings so he knows that it's a song, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he won't do the
Just
Family
I had
Guy.
no idea what song he was singing.
Yeah, I've heard it before, but the Family Guy reference was the classic one.
Just beneath
Almost cried.
the bitter snow, and with us. Whose phone is that? Mine?
That's not my
mine.
phone.
Hey,
It's
you.
not mine.
Who's
My
recording
phone is
us?
Dead.
Are we live? Oh. Who loves a live episode?
What's up,
We live?
everybody?
That
We
whole
are
time?
live
We
now.
live, baby.
Technically, we've been live for 2 minutes, probably.
So professional.
Oh yeah.
Keep it going.
What's up, Barflies?
What up?
How you doing? How's it going? We want to welcome you. And without further ado, 'tis I, hailing from the land of Sake, Shinobi, and Samurai. The boy is Godzilla personified. There is no other name but this to go by. It's your boy, J-Hawk. And to my left, Hirari desu ne.
Japanese Spider-Man had a Megazord. So now he's your Mega Lord. Respect him.
Bars.
Don't reflect him.
Hey.
Kenny Sparks. To my left is the chef.
It's your favorite chef. Oh boy. It's QC, your favorite support character with boundaries.
Boundaries.
Coming at you live. That kind of sounded like the dolphin too. Now to my left,
To your left.
got the singing.
It's my turn?
over here.
It's Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Rodan, I'm coming to you live from the 215. Your comic book connoisseur, your Somali of sci-fi and superheroes. Listen, they need to figure out what's going to go with the Speaker of the House. Oh,
This is your camera.
this is me? I'm sorry. I was talking to the
He broke the
producer.
fourth wall.
I was breaking the fourth wall, and the producer's like, "Stop looking at me." I was having a conversation with him,
Okay.
but I should be having a conversation with y'all. Hey, welcome to the Blerd Bar. We're gonna have a great show tonight.
100%.
We are. It's
goodness.
just wild right
This
now.
is wild.
So, Josh,
It's okay.
what are we doing?
We'll start off with a weird question. How
Weird
about
question?
that? Yeah, weird question. If you could cosplay as any character, who would it be? And Nande. Nande de Bayo.
I got my answer, so I guess I'll go first.
Doste.
Am I here? Is this me?
No,
Or
you're
am I-
wide. We're wide. We're wide.
I just want to be ready from now on. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey.
So, I feel like I need sleep, but I don't, because I'm impervious to sleep.
You do need sleep.
Maybe, yes.
wanna
I would cosplay
You wanna
as
cosplay as him?
Miles Morales that did not get bit
What?
and ends up getting a day job, just like
It's a
a
regular
9 to
nigga?
5. Sure.
Wow. You say it like it's a bad thing.
Sure.
Are we not all?
A day job, a teenager with a day job in
Yeah.
New York City.
In New York City.
Black
Oh
and
my
Puerto
God.
Rican?
Like, no, I'm an aged up Miles Morales, right? Like he goes
Okay.
around just experiencing life as a regular New York.
So you
person.
want to
Without being-
cosplay?
without
You want to
being ambushed
cosplay as a
every other
normal
day?
person living.
Sure,
Life.
why not?
That says a lot about maybe your life.
Maybe.
Okay. Cosplaying as a break.
As a break.
Cosplaying to escape.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That is hilarious.
We're gonna have a great time tonight.
Unless you're going to be the Prowler. Because he didn't get bit.
He did not get bit, but he also turned to a life of crime. I just said like regular.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lead a normal life.
Well,
Like
I mean-
I'm the what if Miles doesn't get
In
bit.
our last episode, we did talk about crime.
Yeah. I like to stay away from that this time.
Yeah.
I had to answer questions after the episode.
Fair.
I think if I would cosplay a character, I have to make sure that it has to be done perfectly though. I would definitely cosplay as Bayonetta. Because Bayonetta is such a great looking character and such a greatly designed character who like just exudes confidence, and she has glasses on. So it's just like perfect. She has guns on her feet, really
I
long
was
black.
about to say like all
Yeah.
that being functional and it's a lot of leather.
It's a lot of leather, and like her hair like is part of her suit. So she's such a greatly designed character. So when I see people cosplay well as her, it's just so beautiful, and they're tall, and it just she's like definitely a fictional character, but I feel like people that cosplay as her, it doesn't look cheesy or like a costume because
you gotta do it right.
You got to do it right.
Yeah. Word. And gotta beat superhero. Static Shock. So I would cosplay as sleeveless or jacketless Static Shock from season 2, the one with the black costume specifically.
Okay.
That's fine.
Reason why I'm sleeveless is because cosplay is amazing. It just looks so damn hot. I don't understand how these dudes be walking around with Predator outfits and then going to the bathroom. It looks crazy. So
It looks like how it smells.
Well, that goes to show.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm cut off. I didn't even have a drink today. That's wild.
but like Static was a big deal for me growing up. Like it was amazing him running into the Justice League and all that good stuff. So, he was one of the few characters he was the Miles before Miles, for real.
And he's
in
DC,
my
right?
life at least.
Yeah. He's DC?
He's DC / Milestone.
Milestone first, then DC.
Yeah.
I see.
He's actually borrowed. He's a borrowed character.
Really, like Tarzan.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with it because I don't know. But
It is.
I know
She
that
was
you're
right.
not a liar. So, I know that you're not a liar. Why is that a head
Protect
turn?
black women.
Yes. So that's it. That's my answer. I'm sorry, I've gone way too long.
I think I would do either. Actually, you just made me think about it. I would either do Predator or Mandalorian, like a Mandalorian,
Man,
or
that's awesome.
Signal.
Signal's cool. I
Batman.
like Signal.
From Batman?
Yeah.
He has a dope costume.
He's only the only Bat member who has actual powers.
He has
Really?
powers now.
Yeah.
Bat
Yeah.
member?
Photo
From the Bat
telekinetic.
family.
Photo telekinesis.
That's right.
Phototelekinesis.
His yellow jacket is dope. I love his outfit.
Speaking of yellow jackets.
Oh, the show. Is it
Oh,
good?
no, I was thinking Jubilee.
So that's your name.
That would have been my number 2.
That's a
But
good
he has a
one.
yellow
My
jacket.
backup was Bishop.
Bishop has a yellow jacket?
No, my backup was
Oh, your
Bishop.
backup was
I
Bishop.
was-
That's that bull that was an
Yo,
X-Men?
this is the greatest episode of all time.
yeah. It seems like we're like not in sync.
We're
but
trying
we
to
are.
understand each other's things.
This is how
But
friendships
Signal is
are
dope.
built.
What's on tap?
What's on tap?
What's on tap?
For tonight, we are having Dark and Stormy, which
Ooh,
is
I like that.
ginger beer and dark rum. So feel free to make it yourselves.
Cool.
Make your own.
Go ahead, dude.
So how is this made? I'm sorry.
Just ginger beer and dark rum.
Is there
Can also be added with lime juice. The
is
actual
there
cocktail.
Yeah.
More ginger beer
ratio?
than rum.
Okay.
And then also, just to give a little backstory of the history of the Dark and Stormy, allegedly, the flavorful Dark and Stormy cocktail originated in Bermuda immediately after World War I, where an early member of the Gosling rum family combined Gosling's Black Seal rum and the local Barrett's ginger beer. Legend has it that a sailor held up the drink and said it was the color of a cloud only a fool or a dead man would sail under. And the Dark and Stormy was born. So, though we do not have Black Seal rum, Gosling's Black Seal rum, we do have Kraken. Release the Kraken.
Thank you.
I didn't know what you were going to
Hold on now.
That was pretty
Hold
good.
on
That
now.
was good. I like that.
Yeah. So, Dark and
Different
Stormy,
interpretations.
Adolescent Kraken.
guys. Adolescent Kraken.
Prepubescent.
Isn't that a
You can also
movie?
use the other one.
Oh,
Kraken and
that's
the what is it? Kraken and Mermaids?
Yeah, it is. It was like an animated movie recently.
Cheers, everybody.
cheers.
Come by.
Super Saiyan.
But what also is on tap for tonight is your favorite spooky moments.
Okay.
What are those, huh? And recommendations from our respective realms.
Sure. I'm the movie guy, so I have spooky movies. So the
Real quick, just for sake of time, because I got a whole list. I know I got a whole stack in my back pocket. So I think for sake of time, two is what we're saying. Two
Two recommendations.
recommendations, and then if there's time,
Okay.
we can keep going.
Okay. So for my first one, I would say The Thing, 1982.
Ooh.
There's a see my spooky scene is kind of like one of the reasons why I want you to watch the movie.
Yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
no spoilers.
I would just say there's a scene where there's a cadaver, someone's being operated on, and someone loses some things during that operation. So that's as vague as I can be without spoiling it. But yeah, The Thing 1982 is a phenomenal. Is my favorite horror movie. Period. It's a phenomenal movie. It's all about just a psychological torture of not knowing who's with you or who's against you, and then trying to make it through a dark, cold winter. So
That's the remake one, right?
no, that's the original.
That's the original?
Yeah.
1982?
Yeah, it's Kurt Russell.
I'm thinking about The Fly. You're right. Go ahead.
The Fly is nasty.
Every version of The Fly is gross.
Fly is nasty. Sorry. It stars Kurt Russell and Keith David. So it's a very good movie. I hadn't thought of a second. I didn't know we were doing two. But off the top of my head, that's one. If you want to do one from this year, I really did enjoy Evil Dead Rise. So I would recommend that one as well. There's a lot of creepy-ish in that. So those are my two recommendations. Yep.
You got any spooky video games for us?
I'm gonna have to also I'll pick one video game, and I have to pick a movie because I really love horror movies. But I'm not really big on horror video games because I just don't have the physical and emotional capacity to be scared while I'm controlling a character. So it's different than like watching it. But I'd have to say I've been watching a lot of Let's Plays of like and analysis videos of like horrors, and I would say that a horror genre or rather a horror series that really seems to scare me just is Silent Hill. Specifically Silent Hill 2, which is a psychological horror that has set the standard for many psychological horrors, even ones that are out now. And it's on PlayStation 1, so you would think because of the graphics, it's trash, it's corny, it's all pixelated, but just the atmosphere. Horror is all about atmosphere for me. And that scared me a lot just watching someone play. But I'm not really a big player of horror games. I can't do it. Tried to play the first Resident Evil, couldn't. A movie that I would recommend everyone watching which I think is the greatest horror movie ever created is Hereditary.
Hereditary is great.
Shirt on.
I do happen to have. This is not intentional.
She should have won the Oscar.
She knew.
I believe that she should have won. Toni Collette should have won an Oscar.
Absolutely.
But not a lot of horror people win Oscars.
She wasn't even nominated, which is crazy.
Horror is not one of those genres that get nominated. Except Alien. I think maybe Sigourney Weaver may have won one. But very scary movie, atmospheric, traumatic, and I think it's the ceiling of horror. So yeah,
It's on my list. I haven't watched it yet.
Speaking of Silent Hill, I can concur that it's creepy. I never like played it in full. I only had the demo when I was a kid, but even that was enough to be like, I don't want to play this anymore. Yeah. It's too quiet.
And a game about a lot of trauma too. I like when trauma meets horror. I don't like just pure horror about like death and let me kill you. I need it to be like.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Doom was I would say, I don't know if you would say, but I would say that The Last of Us, the first one, was one I was kind of like creeped the hell out by, but continued to. I'm wearing sunglasses, by the way, because I have a severe headache. I'm not just trying to be an ace hole. Ace. So yeah,
that's what all the comments were saying. They were like, "Why is Ken wearing sunglasses indoors?"
You know, I'm subconscious.
I agree with you. I would say that The Last of Us is the ceiling of video games. It wasn't so scary, but I think it is the greatest video game ever created. So we're like kind of there together.
Yeah, maybe not scary, but
kind of saying the same thing.
Like I would say it was scary, yes, but also I was maybe more stressful than scary.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What, Last of Us?
Yeah, I think all horror games are stressful.
It's more.
It activates.
I would say the tense situations.
You guys remember Doom?
I remember Doom.
Oh yeah, that's just
I was like,
darkness.
Dead Space.
Dead Space, I hear. Yep, Dead Space.
I did that one time. That was it. No more horror games after that.
Dead Space is considered one of the scariest.
Where he'd be like, "What are you selling?
Resident Evil 4.
What are you buying?"
Resident Evil 4.
That's all I remember from that.
That was a good.
Which was remade recently, guys.
It was.
Impression. I'm sorry.
So, from the comics world, there's very few things that I can say jump off the page scary.
Yeah.
However, two things come to mind that have gotten me like, oh, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Animorphs.
That's a good one.
I was just talking to somebody.
That's a good one.
The covers of all the covers
Nasty.
of Animorphs are just.
But the story is so good. But I'm not.
Yeah.
I never read the stories. I only bought the book so I could flip the little sides. My mom never knew. I was like, I love these books. I just
Oh yeah,
flip
the
little
pop-up
side.
book thing at the
Yeah.
bottom. Great technology. Go ahead.
It's a lot of money to spend for.
just for the,
It was
the
at the
one corner of the
Scholastic.
Scholastic Book
The
Fair.
Scholastic Book Fair, dog. Y'all
He's
don't
like,
know
hey,
nothing
I'm
about that.
$10. Walk away with a treasure trove of books.
Yes, sir.
But my
Clifford.
recommendations for comics, I was thinking, The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing
Ooh.
is insane. If you want to get into comic books and you want to like kind of stay away from the capes of it all,
Yeah.
The Immortal Hulk does it. It does body horror. Definitely deals with like superstitious type things. The themes that are addressed throughout The Immortal Hulk are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'll scream that one from the mountaintops. The second one, a little bit older, actually a lot older, Sandman by Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
Ah,
It's
that's a comic.
Yeah, graphic novel.
Okay.
Comic.
Is the creep factor is high up there?
It's high.
Okay.
So if you've seen the Netflix show, a lot of
have.
it's toned down, and the reason why is because one, it's body horror again. Some of it's body horror, and they deal with like offing other bad people. But yeah,
Can I quickly add two comics to that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah. Revival by Image Comics was very scary. It went a little too long, but it was creepy as hell. And then Nailbiter was another one, which was about a serial killer who his mark was biting people's nails. But that,
I was also
how it goes.
the one that almost made it to the second was going to be Philadelphia.
Oh, I
I
read the first
have
couple
that,
chapters
and I
there.
have not read it.
Yeah.
I heard
Read
good
it.
things about
Yeah.
that. I haven't read it.
It's sometimes like, oh, that's a little, but it's vampires, and I feel like after a while, people aren't as scared of vampires the same way. But Josh, you got any picks for horror anime?
There's quite a
those.
few. But since we're doing two,
Attack on Titan? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I would start off with maybe Blood Sea comes to mind.
Blood Sea.
Like the actual first movie before it became like a series. Yeah.
I was about to say the series.
Well,
Oh,
the
yeah.
series is also very like body horror.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Blood Plus.
Is that what it is? The series?
Yeah, Blood Plus was first. That was the one that was good.
Okay, then that's what I'm talking about.
The kind of like the older, like
Yeah,
early
it's
2000s.
really old. Yeah,
the
yeah.
Blood Plus.
Blood Plus.
Yeah, Blood
Yeah,
Sea
no.
was the one that was
That
deleted.
was the actual series.
That was the series that came like a little later. Yeah.
So Blood Sea has a lot of body horror, but Blood Plus I was like actually legitimately like, oh, this is wild.
Yeah.
Another thing that was weird and wild was I'm gonna say Parasite.
Yeah. Body horror.
Is that the one with the eye?
The eye in the hand. And
Yeah.
the claws and
I
stuff.
tried
Ugh.
for like 3 episodes. I couldn't do it.
It's that was creepy. That was
That one had me pleading the blood.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Old
think
timey deacon on that one.
Yeah. Devil Man Crybaby had me the same way. I was like,
Really? In terms of horror?
it was just like, this is demonic. I mean, granted, Devil Man Crybaby, but I was like,
The devil's is in the name.
I started throwing some oil at the TV.
Have you ever watched Another or Shiki or
I haven't watched Shiki. I've heard about that. I've heard about Another. I've heard about I need to watch Perfect Blue.
Oh,
honestly.
I do too.
Yes, absolutely.
That's one that I always hear about.
Yeah.
I did watch Elfen Lied,
Oh yeah.
which I hear the manga is like wilder than
It's
what
based-
they
I
could show
didn't-
on the
Really? It's
on the
based off a
anime.
manga?
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
I assumed all anime were based off mangas. Is that not true?
No, not Cowboy Bebop. Not Neon Genesis. They had mangas after.
Okay.
S-Lane
Dope.
or Slane? Is it?
Serial Experiments Lane?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I heard that's wild. I haven't watched it, but I heard that's
Really
wild.
great.
Since we got a little bit of time. Also, where we here?
Worldwide.
Cool. Barflies, while we're sitting here, tell us your recommendations. You got anything spooky for us that we haven't watched yet? Maybe we have.
I love scary things that I watch.
Cobb really be into that. So
Watching
say
scary.
at Cobb, and
Did we think the new Candyman was spooky?
It was not.
No,
It wasn't.
I liked 90% of the movie, and then it just.
I don't remember.
Did we see that one together?
I don't think
We
so.
did.
We did.
We did, because I remember us complaining about other brown folks not being participating properly at watching the movie
I don't remember.
Like in the theater.
in the theater.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, but it wasn't spooky.
Was that the horror?
The horror was
that
like,
the
I
horror?
could have led the charge, though. I know he ain't about to walk down these steps.
The horror was more so that like you're hoping that all these black people flocking to this movie are going to like have decorum.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a horror. That's horror for sure.
You just kind of like, don't be the stereotype.
Wait, I'm sorry. You were upset that they did what we
Did what they stereotypically would do.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
That was the horror part. But
crowd participation.
that's
I was
okay with
also
some
thinking
films.
Haunting on Hill House
Man,
is peak.
man,
That
you
was
are
one that also
100%
kept me up
correct.
at night.
Which one is it Silent Hill? She's a witch. You guys remember
What
that?
was that?
And they have the triangle heads.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Silent
That
Hill.
was a movie.
Yeah.
That was
became
a pretty.
movie.
It was a pretty good movie, but as a stand, like we didn't know anything. If it's separated from Silent Hill, it's great, but connecting it to Silent Hill, it just didn't really make sense.
What was that haunted house movie from way back when they're in a house that was haunted?
The Haunting.
The Haunting.
That
Was
is
the
based
Haunting?
off of.
When the
scary
lion thing. came
Yes,
down?
that's based off of the book that Shirley Jackson made. That The Haunting on Hill House is also
Okay.
based off of.
That creeped me the hell out.
It scared me a lot
Yeah.
too. Like with the babies, the statues of the babies, and
I
it
don't
was
remember
scary.
that, and I'm glad I
Such
don't.
a scary movie.
Pumpkinhead
Haunting on Hill House
too.
was- yeah.
My dad had it on VHS. I have no idea why I watched it so many times. It's
Wait a minute, hold on. I forgot something.
okay.
One of the
Promised
scariest
Neverland?
movies. The Promised Neverland
Wild.
was scary.
It's
No.
traumatic.
Especially the anime. The anime was even scarier how bad it was.
No.
But
No.
yo, The Ring, y'all.
You
like
also
yeah, the
like
Ring was creepy.
Ninja Scroll. Like
Sure.
The Ring creeped me the
Just-
hell
just-
out.
I would sooner say Guts. Berserk.
oh, Berserk. Yeah,
Berserk.
that's scary in
I never
Is it
many other
scary?
ways. It's not a horror. It's
It's not
horrifying.
hard, but like
It's
there's
horrifying.
moment of wildness.
Shock, right.
There's
all
moment of
throughout
shock.
the whole show.
Yeah.
But man,
Gotcha.
The Ring, I think was in my like as a child. I think that may have been the scariest film I've ever saw in terms of what it did to me, in terms of not wanting to go to sleep after. I never understood when people said I had a hard time sleeping or I couldn't. But the one film that did it for me was The Ring, like the American version.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I know the
no,
Japanese
it was
version is so
scary.
much scarier.
When she came through that TV,
When she came
it
to the
was a
TV,
wrap.
that was it, man.
Yeah.
there was a horror movie growing up, and I don't even remember the name of it. At some point, there's like some demon or something floating in the inside of the house, and the kid looks at his hand, and then there's an eye in his hand. He stabs the eye in his hand, and I was like, "No, I don't
Right.
like this.
Right.
I want to go home." I think I was at my grandmother's house when I saw it, so that's what made it worse because I was just like, "I don't want to be here.
Right.
I don't want to be here with y'all
Right.
watching this film." And they were just kind of like, "Ah, look at this. This is funny." It's like he
not.
just stabbed an eye that was in his hand.
It's not. Oh, Parasite. I'm thinking something completely different. But Parasite was creepy too. When
anime?
you said Parasite, I
Like
was,
the anime
I was
or the
thinking,
Korean
yeah, the
movie?
anime.
Okay.
I was thinking of something. There's another anime where it's essentially vampires.
Is it Helsing?
No.
Helsing.
The Gate. Thank you.
87.
wild.
The 80s was an interesting time for
If you
horror.
go back and watch it now, it's laughable. The graphics.
Many are like Hellraiser. It's a bit laughable.
Poltergeist still kind of.
No.
Yo, Poltergeist. I can't watch it.
Wait,
I tried
what's
to
the dude
watch
with
it.
the nails? That's
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Nasty.
He was creepy.
Yeah, the design, the character design was scary, but horror movies just are always going to exist, and there will always be good horrors. There will just be bad horrors.
There's going to be more bad horrors.
Yes.
Than good horror.
What did you think about Jeepers Creepers?
I will never forget that. I don't really remember the film, but I
Oh,
won't
the
forget that
ending?
scene of the ending. Just for some reason sticks in my head.
Which one?
I didn't grow
The first
up
one.
watching horror, so by the time that phase had passed, I can't go back and watch it now.
You
just
can.
knowing the history behind it, like who directs it. and
Oh
all
yeah, I
stuff,
heard that.
it's bad.
Like of Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah.
I heard that there was
Yeah,
some nasty
he's,
history.
he's
yeah,
not a good dude.
he's not a good guy, so I won't be
heard there
going
was
back to
some
watch it.
nasty
But
Never know. I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, no.
But what about the latest season of Stranger Things?
Oh,
I haven't seen it.
Tokyo
I haven't
Ghoul.
seen it.
Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah.
Really great
I was
show.
literally gonna say that.
Yeah.
Is it hard though? But it's a great show.
It's
I stopped
body.
watching
It's
it.
nasty.
Yeah.
But
The
it's
first
a great
season.
show. Yeah, I never saw the one. The
I
one
tried
after.
to watch the second season and I was like, this is whack.
But reading it is a great experience. It's drawn so beautifully. My God.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't tend to get drawn to creepy stuff, and now even more so as a dad, it's just like I'm a chill.
I just saw the first Exorcist from '73. It's
Really?
not scary.
Go ahead, man. All right. Anyway, can we move on?
Disgusting.
We're supposed to have a good time. We're not supposed to argue.
We're
We're
gonna
supposed to
have a
agree
good
on
time.
everything.
Cobb's like, you know what? You're not going to steal my joy.
You're not going to take the.
This is
Exorcist
not a
away from
bracket
us.
episode.
No, I'm not saying.
You're
I'm
not
not saying
taking
it's
it.
bad. It's a good movie. I was expecting it to be very disturbing and
It is disturbing.
like scary. It's just disgusting. She
Do we have any comments?
throws up on dude. She spits in his
Comments?
face.
Do you have any
She
comments?
the blood
Yeah, I've
from
been
the
saying- I've
from
been
the
writing them
orifices.
But that's
Ghost
certainly
Dad
disturbing.
was one,
Right?
but I think it was added as a troll.
I think it's about like
I
putting
don't want
yourself there.
to single anybody
Oh, I
out.
would not want to be in. Oh, and she stank too. You know she stank in that room. She was in that room for a minute.
Y'all gotta chill because I don't want to think about The Exorcist.
Okay.
That's
The Exorcist Believer was not good.
It was trash. I
unfortunately.
fell asleep. Well, I wouldn't know I was asleep. But horrors, y'all, it will always exist. I'm always looking for new horror. Just can't play any, but I'll watch some.
Yeah.
I'm one of those
I enjoy
people
it.
that I can't go pay to be scared. That's not. It's not a.
You're not a thrill.
draw
You're not a
for
thrill
me.
seeker.
Yeah.
In that way.
No, I'm not bored enough in myself to be like, you know what? I could go for a good scare right now.
I need my heart to start.
We went on this was before I got married. My wife and I went on a date with like a double date with somebody, and they went to like a haunted maze or something.
Okay.
I did not show my best colors in those moments because they're like, "Oh, you're supposed to protect the girl." No, it was going to
She
be
left her in the
solo dolo.
maze.
I'm totally against
I
those,
will.
yo.
I will mourn the loss. So don't put me in
Gotta
those
be
situations. Now, right. So now, as a husband, it's like I'm just whoever is going through that door. You just getting bodied.
The
Like,
prison
it's-
on Fairmount wasn't as scary as I wanted it to be.
It's
The,
a bit. It's a bit like the Terror Behind the Walls.
Yeah.
It's a bit creepy. I didn't sign the thing that said that they could touch you.
Oh, I
'Cause
did.
there's like a waiver. You
Oh
did
yeah,
it?
you like
Oh,
me
I
touched.
think I just signed.
No.
I'm terrible. I just signed anything.
It's just about like this idea of like that people are trying to scare you. So I feel like that kind of takes away. You're just activating my natural physical reaction, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like to feel like I know something bad's gonna happen, but I just can't figure out the who, what, when, and where.
How do they know?
I always
when
think-
you go through that, how do they know who can and who can't be touched?
They have
they have
a
a
wristband on that's like
Okay.
lit up.
Gotcha.
So they'll grab you and put you. Sometimes they move you to other locations.
No, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Nah.
Don't touch me. Don't
And then
put
you
your
sign
hands
that
on
thing
me.
that says, I promise that if I die, then that's on me. That's basically what that waiver is saying.
No.
That's basically what that waiver of touching you is saying.
Right.
I feel like
Josh is
That's
like,
not
I
the
signed
case.
that.
What's the?
It is. It is the case.
I feel like that's a bit of a leap, but
No, it's
Wait,
true.
can I write up
The
a contract? Like,
It's that contract.
Google and be like, hey.
When he goes unacceptable, that's
Oh,
me.
it's totally true. That's
It's
why you
not
signed
gonna
that.
be okay.
So
Like-
wait, if I open my house as a haunted house, could I just write up a contract on
Yes,
Google
if-
Docs and be like, look,
Yes.
if you die, it's whatever.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
you may have to have it like notarized, or like you may have to have a lawyer look over
definitely have
it.
that. No,
But
Sign with a witness.
if you're allowing
present.
if you're allowing people to touch you, then there has to be like certain agreements to it where you can't say that I did that. If you have a heart attack when I grab you, it's not our responsibility.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of
Oh,
like
is it now their
Yo.
responsibility to be like chest compressions? Like, why?
I mean, that's
okay.
no, I'm just saying if you happen to die, then that's not
Next
on us.
friends to give him gonna be.
Interesting. I went to Six Flags for one of those like horror nights.
Oh, you was one of the guy that did something off of TV.
Nah.
So you was above like the rest of us.
Oh, I did something. On
You was
TV.
that bull that whose parents like dialed the 1-800 number when it was like the infomercials like for like sock and boppers.
Oh, okay. No,
No.
I grew up in poverty. No, I didn't. But anyway,
Don't do your
Six
mom like
Flags. Those
Halloween.
Halloween
The Halloween
things.
events that you watch the commercial of, like I want to go.
Have you been
I
to one
really
of them?
wanted to
No,
go.
I've never even been to Six Flags.
that. Now I'm too old and too fat.
I really want to talk about that.
A lot of this is billable hours. What did he just say? He said he's too old and fat.
Well,
I can't get on the rise no more.
Old and fat to go.
The way
but,
you said it, the way you repeated it was.
It was not worse than the original comic.
But
You went
back
to Six
to
Flags.
back to that.
Revisionist
I didn't take
history.
offense.
The way that people like the actors that they have to like scare you once like the sun goes down and like the theme changes.
When the sun
It is
goes up, when the sun.
it is not appealing the way that I think they market it. Like
Like it's not as cool.
not cool, but they do stuff that you be like, oh, not cool, because you stand in line buying
it is?
popcorn. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
so it's like
then
a free for all.
Boppy the clown show up, and all of a sudden they be
Boppy the
like, he's like,
clown.
nyong, 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 nyong,
Yeah,
give me
they
some
need
popcorn.
a-
I'm like, yo,
They needed like a wristband, like you guys were mentioning, that's like a blue color.
Like it's
a
okay.
timeout.
right?
Or like it's okay to scare me or not okay to scare me.
Right.
No, I'm just here for the ride.
Because then if they get socked, which happens, right? When you're too scared, you may swing.
Reflex.
The Universal Studios one, mad scary.
Really?
Disney World's Halloween, not scary.
I
It's
mean-
just dark and just lights and
Sounds like Disney.
kids. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
But
A half dead Mickey Mouse is not scary.
scary at Dorney Park. I've done them all, and now I just know I don't like
Dorney Park?
I don't like being scared. I don't like the idea of paying an additional price
Dorney
for
Park.
somebody to be like, I hope somebody makes me wet my pants.
Dorney
It's
Park
a
is
thrill.
a wild place.
It's a thrill
yo.
to be scared. People sometimes look for it.
Did you watch the Witch? But
Yes.
it's like 2 V's.
Absolutely.
I like that.
I liked it
enjoyed
a lot.
that. It was creepy.
I liked it a lot.
The Witch. That's what me and my friends call it.
One that was
You
creepy.
said Wanda?
No, one that was.
Oh.
One that was creepy, but like in a weird kind of way, was Mother with
Jennifer Lawrence?
Jennifer Lawrence.
I didn't finish it. It's more like about like, please don't have anxiety and watch this film.
Oh yeah, I left that film like I don't. I
You
feel like
did talk
you
about
just
that,
feel
right?
nasty.
You
I
have-
don't remember. I haven't talked to anybody about it.
you have certain film experiences. Is like that movie happened to me. Like I didn't watch it. It happened.
I agree with you.
To me.
It's
Right.
something that's happening to you.
Yeah.
That's what makes it a horror. Because it's
Yeah.
not like, it's just like you're being It feels a bit violating.
And then I left. I was like, I don't know if that was good. I don't know if it was bad. I just know
I haven't
it
finished
happened.
There's
Y'all,
this.
okay.
There's this movie that me and my friend Steph watched that she told me about, and I feel like it's not called like The Cabin in the Woods, but like it's put out there in The Cabin in the Woods where this guy has 2 kids. Their mom dies. He gets not remarried, but he starts talking to this girl who got it's so wild. So girl survived a cult, came and was talking to him because that was the therapist. They ended up dating. They go out to the cabin for like Christmas or something like that because that's what they always do. And then the kids don't like her because you
Stepmom.
yeah
Yeah.
that
Normal
whole thing.
trope.
So because she was in a cult, they start messing with her and like start making things happen to make her think that she's going crazy. She then snaps, truly goes crazy, and ends up killing the kids and the dad.
The Churn?
It's wild.
Is this like a newer-ish movie?
Nah, this was older, and I'm gonna like be Googling it as I like talk about it and look at it. But like I'll let you guys know what it's called. But it's a while. You should definitely watch it.
You
It's a
remember
fun
Don't
show.
Look Under the Bed?
Remember
Disney Channel?
Goosebumps?
No. You
I
the
didn't
Boogeyman.
I didn't have Disney Channel.
I know.
Neither
So if you have Disney Plus now, you're not going to be scared by it. But as a kid,
I mean, we had Are
It's-
You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps. So
sure. Are You Afraid of the Dark wasn't that
Which
scary?
one was scarier? Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps?
As a kid, like the show,
Yeah.
I don't know if I remember watching Are You Afraid of the Dark. I do remember the comic book episode of Goosebumps and being very scared.
Yeah.
For a long
Goosebumps had a
time.
scarier atmosphere.
Yeah. I think, and the Plan episode.
I feel like
I
Are
did.
You Afraid of the Dark got silly after a while. I think to me, Goosebumps, the books had already existed, and you could read the books and be scared.
Yeah,
And
but
then
they were
put
definitely
them-
silly.
yeah.
Goosebumps was definitely silly.
Oh, it was dumb silly.
Does anybody remember?
No, it was creepy.
It's not Ghost Rider, but Ghost Writer on PBS.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was no good. I watched it but I was no good. Like that,
Really?
that movie, that show creeped me the hell out.
It was just a computer, man.
Dog. It was right after.
I mean,
Come
I'm pretty
On
sure it was
In,
a
Zoom,
40-year-old bald guy on the other side. But Sheena,
I know, like,
Email.
what was the name of that dog, that Jack Russell? That joint scared
Email.
me.
Wishbone?
Wishbone scared me a little bit, yeah.
First of all, Wishbone is the reason why I'm a nerd today.
For some reason, like, live action kid shows scared me a lot as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Wishbone, to be honest
I
with
think it was just like, why would I want to watch
Wishbone
this?
is why I
Such
read
big
all of the
imagination.
legendary
Such a
hardback
little
edition covers and stuff, like the old school Mary Shelley, Frankenstein, Dracula. All these.
Wishbone was so dry. It's like I feel like
Yeah, but
most people
Wishbone
skip
was
that.
the toned down version of those books that you would never, you weren't going to read for another.
I
4 or
just
5
never
years.
understood live action kid shows when I was trying to watch cartoons. Like Wishbone and like Reading Rainbow. It's like, what is this? What is this
Telling
happening to me
you
for?
You didn't watch Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Hey.
That was animated.
No.
They had a live action portion of it. Like the cop lady wasn't. Wait,
She was animated, but
Wait.
it was a game show.
Zoom.
yeah, but it was also a PC game and a
And it
cartoon.
was also a PC game as well. You play games?
I played the game. The games are hard.
2 things are happening right here.
There's a lot. Anyway, horror.
Z-mail. Come on, man. Zoom.
I think we've kind of
I think we
exhausted
talked
that.
about horror. Next, why do we praise complete polished video games rather than expect that as a standard?
I'm not the video game guy,
But you've played video
but
games.
I have a thought.
Tell us your thoughts.
I think the reason why we praise complete/polished video games, as not the standard or as if that's special, is because we have come to a point where that's what we're being given is unpolished. So if you're being given something subpar for long enough, when below the norm is when below what am I trying to say? When below average effort is the norm,
Yeah.
normal effort becomes praised. So that's essentially I think
bar
what's
is, like,
happening.
lowered.
Yeah, the bar is so low. It's like, oh my God, it works on the first try. Oh my God, we don't need a bunch of DLC. Oh my God, the game is complete.
God.
Right. So those are my only thoughts I'll be able to give because I'm not like
But you play video games.
I
So
do.
you've
Spider-Man 2 is
experienced-
amazing, but yeah.
Because I'll let you.
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna let you cook.
I don't have nothing to cook.
Nothing good.
I think
No scrambled eggs.
for someone who, sure, probably in between like your range and how much you game, I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I play games enough to know like when I bought Cyberpunk 2077, it should not have been as broken as it was. However, they already got the $70/$80 from me.
You get that back?
No.
I did.
And then I was just like, I'm going to wait till the update happens. Right? I'm angry.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
Right. So then now they released the most recent update that supposedly revamps the entire game. And this is the game that people intended to play 3 years ago.
Oh, I thought they shut that project down. Like,
Oh, no.
No.
They came
They
back.
put too much
They
money.
put out a DLC with Idris Elba.
A major patch.
The majorest of all patches.
Wow.
Games like No Man's Sky. The game promised so much, and it was this tiny indie developer studio that was like, oh, you can go to any planet, it'll be unique. It's very likely that you'll never encounter the same planet as someone else playing the game.
They literally
They
lied.
lied.
Now that's different than Cyberpunk because these people lied to us.
Well, the
Cyberpunk
Cyberpunk
just-
trailer lied.
Cyberpunk just disappointed us in what, but those people with No Man's Sky, they literally lied.
But that doesn't even sound realistic.
But they let it cook. While the game is already purchased and you already own it.
And No Man's Sky ain't give us our bread back.
They did not give it back. But you then now play the game. It's a complete game. It's got multiplayer aspects. It's not the game that they promised wholly, but more true to what was being offered. You think about examples like Assassin's Creed, all these AAA games that people are like, the price tag is $70. We're not changing that. We're not reducing that for nobody. We don't care how special you are, how many times you played the game with us. This game comes out every year, and now we expecting you to pay up. And the only thing that we ask as consumers is, does it work?
Right.
Literally, the review of Starfield was, what was it? The review that I read was, it don't have as many bugs as Skyrim. That is not okay.
Yeah.
That is not okay to say to somebody. It's like, It's not as buggy as all the other games that come from this developer, but you still want your full bread.
Yeah. And you have to imagine, like, any other industry, almost any other industry. I'm sure there's another one, but let's say you got a CD, right, a music CD back in the day, and just one song skipped, but on the other CDs, 3 songs skipped, and that was the norm. And it was like, hey, get the deluxe and it'll work. Yeah, that's essentially what we're saying.
Yeah.
Could it also be because like games are supposed to be so involved now and most likely downloaded digitally that they're just like, I mean, you'll get the patches, like, you know what I mean, like
I think that's part
subscription based, like kind of a thing where it's like
definitely with them being online and games being a service now versus a finished product. Like, honestly, let's be real. If Sega had did this or pulled these kind of stunts with like Sonic back in the day, the gaming industry would have died. That we wouldn't even be able to get to where we are these days.
Yeah.
Because if Mario did not finish, if you couldn't finish level 1, and it wasn't because of skill, like if you just couldn't finish it because the game was broken.
Yeah. And you do see in other industries, and this is relating to video games, where people who are putting out products are taking advantage of people because hard disk or disk are not, or hard copies of things are not prevalent anymore.
Yeah.
So let's take I don't care about the album or to talk about the album, but let's take like the Drake album, right? It was announced, people thought it was coming out on a certain day, it didn't come out on that day. When it was just CDs, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Right? You can't send a bunch of people to FYE to pick up this disc and it's not there.
Right.
So I think that in the same way, it's kind of like the same thing with video games. Like,
Agreed.
because it's digital, like just like Josh said, you can kind of do what you want a little bit and take people for granted.
And to that point, right? Like all the nights, those late nights of standing in line at GameStop,
Riots in the streets.
Cold.
If it's not
Radio
there.
Shack,
Yeah.
talking about in the cold.
Electronics Boutique.
I remember the first time I got GTA 5 in the cold, and remembering like, oh yeah, you can play GTA online. No, you can't. It's not there, and it won't be there for a minute. And they were just like, "You have a blessed night." But I'm like, "But wait," and they're like, "No, you can roll. We gave you your stuff."
Yeah.
And I think some of the comments here, Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem also dropped the ball
Oh yeah.
big time on the release. Anthem, did you play Anthem?
I did.
Did you like Anthem?
I did not.
Okay.
No. And Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda and Anthem were made by BioWare, and I mean that was essentially really the fall of BioWare. And Mass Effect Andromeda, from what I hear, eventually got itself together.
Not enough.
People were already like,
Not enough.
but people were already disenchanted with it because there was no Shepard.
Yeah.
But then like you have these random siblings, and then the graphics and just the way that it runs just does not work out, and people were pissed, and they really suffered because of that. And then Anthem had potential, but they dropped the ball and did not really make up for that. Like some other companies have tried to make up for their mistakes, and then BioWare has not released anything since then, to my knowledge. Anthem, I think, was their last film. Was their last game?
Jedi Survivor, is that BioWare?
No, that's
EA?
EA. But I think Anthem may have been BioWare's last title.
Yeah.
Are there any games that drop now that are complete where it's like you can play the game? Like we might upload DLCs or something like that, but the game itself.
And that was going to be my point, is that I personally don't think that we truly do appreciate polished games, right? Like, I think we were talking about, like, AAA games, like games that are being highly advertised, or these super big budget games. But we're ignoring a lot of other games that are complete that come out, right? Like, we're not really going to talk a lot about Alan Wake 2, which, you know, if you're live, then it dropped today.
Okay, I was about to
right?
say it didn't drop yet.
We're not talking about some of these other smaller, like, RPG games that have come out, like 13 Sentinels, Persona 5, like, just blew the world away, but Persona 5 was a game that was really, the Persona series is a very niche title, where if you love Persona, you'll love it, but if not. But, I mean, there are a lot of polished and complete games that come out weekly that we don't talk about, whether they're indie titles or just smaller titles. We don't talk about that. So I don't think that we actually care about complete games. I think we care about, okay, if you're going to like force feed me advertisements on these AAA titles that I already am interested in, and it's not quite what I want it to be, then I'm going to complain, which rightfully so. But I don't think that as gamers, as an industry, we really appreciate complete games, because if we did, indie games would be making a lot more money.
Yeah.
The indie game industry would be elevated more. I do think that a lot of I don't think that as many games are being released broken. I think that a lot of games are being released without everything, right? But in terms of like games that run very well, that do well and make us happy, I think that typically the industry does pretty well at that.
I would say
we can name the few. We can name the low-hanging fruit.
Sure.
Cyberpunk is low-hanging fruit. We know that Cyberpunk failed and came back. We can name No Man's Sky. We can talk about Skyrim. We can talk about that, yeah. But I think typically speaking, games do pretty well. Like, they do pretty well. Especially if it's been projected to do well, then it's gonna do well.
More often than not, I agree. But even being projected to do well is just often from a financial perspective. However, to your point, indie games and even like AA or just A games are that are done and finished. They don't have the same marketing budget.
Sure,
they are more niche. I think when I'm making the argument about this, or that are there good games that are finished, God of War. Big AAA game, complete.
They have to be. We're talking about Sony.
That's what I'm saying.
We're talking about Sony here. Sony always complete.
We're talking about practice.
And also, we may have to also think about industry practices. Like, what did CD Projekt Red team, like, what about the pressure for the developers in CD Projekt Red have to go through to create a game and have it this major game be released at this time, and the whole world is, there also could be just like pressures from the industry. While it seems like developers at Sony really get the time that they need, right, to create great games, and most Sony games kind of feel the same. They're not the same, but they kind of feel the same.
Quick question: because I don't be gaming like that for real.
You play Brawl Stars?
I don't be gaming like that for real. Do gamers find out that the game is buggy or broken or not finished after they've already bought it? Or is it like something where, but like before anybody gets it, like I understand like hearing about it, but like when you are refreshing the page to like download the game, do you already know that there are bugs or that it is unfinished?
Usually you hear everything like day one, day one when you can't get in. That's like the most frustrating thing for a gamer, is someone that was up at midnight, has the game preloaded, pre-downloaded, and then they can't get in. There are server issues.
Shut up.
I know, me either though.
Siri was like, I'm not sure I get that.
But let's think about Diablo, right? Like the world loves Diablo. That's like the love of a lot of people's lives. But they were really, and even this whole idea of, what is that thing called that people are doing nowadays, where they're mass giving these review bombing, which is almost like a
troll.
It's just, but it's like almost every game goes through it, where people can't get into Diablo 4 because of the servers. Now everybody's like giving it like 3s and 2s and just review bombing so that it appears a lot lower. And I feel like having server issues is quite normal, quite expected.
So that's one thing, but I'm saying like, let's say you go to the store to buy a game, and they say, hey, we're gonna give you this disc, but just know they come back in a week because we have to update it. We have to give you an updated disc. So like when you go to the PlayStation store, the PlayStation Game Store, do you know that you're getting an unfinished product or a like buggy product? You pay the money, download it, and then you find out, like everybody finds out.
Now there are refund policies in place for stuff like that. Normally like 24 to 48 hours.
But that's rare.
But
that's rare. That's only happened, I think, that I know of one time, for Sony.
Yeah, but I know like Xbox, if you play like a minimum of like an hour and say I don't want this,
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
So you're buying it expecting that it works.
fix.
That
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
Typically, yeah.
a
Especially
now,
people that buy day
most
one.
gamers, at least in my understanding, wait for like the review. They may not spoil it for themselves, but the embargo is normally lifted like 3 days before release, or normally a week before.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so,
Like phones, like I'm not gonna be the first one to buy the new phone.
Right.
I'm gonna let
Right.
y'all.
Like a lot of people are not buying games.
a lot of
blind.
reviewers get review copies.
Yeah, and you you're seeing a lot of gameplay. You're seeing what people's thoughts are days before. There's some games that literally have an embargo where you don't even know. But
That's smart. See,
most
I
of the time,
wouldn't
you're
know.
not buying a game completely blind. A lot of times, I feel like we don't blind buy games anyway.
Most people, most gamers don't.
We buy games that have had a history of doing well, which is why it tends to maybe be upsetting when it doesn't.
Right. That's why the low hanging fruit of Cyberpunk was upsetting to so many people, because the studio was famously known for The Witcher 3.
Which had problems of itself.
Which it does, but it's still argued to be among the highest played,
definitely one
the
of the
longest
greatest
games, highest loved games.
Very loved.
So you're like, all right, they're not going to do me wrong. And you normally put blinders on, especially when it's something you enjoy. I play Assassin's Creed games. I have, from the first one to eventually I'll get the latest DLC or whatever they call it. But
the latest new one.
it's not a full game.
It is a full.
DLC.
It's a new
It's
game.
DLC that they've just were like, we'll put a $50 price tag on. That's how I stand on it.
What?
That's exactly what they did.
That's crazy.
Because it was supposed to be a part of the last.
Yo, games are an investment. Yeah, it's like
Bro.
stocks.
Games are
man.
expensive. It's crazy, and it's a lot of money.
And that's why I stopped buying them. I'm
Right,
just like,
no, I get that.
I'm go ahead and play these old
I can't
games.
stop buying them. Metal Gear
can't
Solid
stop.
came out today, y'all.
But like games like Baldur's Gate 3 was in development in early
Years.
access for 3 years before.
Before it dropped.
Yeah. So
Baldur's
think-
Gate is niche, but it blew up. It blew up way. It's kind of like Persona, where it's like, this is for the fans, right? But now everybody is jumping on it, and
Yeah.
that's just exactly what Persona 5 did. Diablo has done that. you know.
Diablo, unfortunately, will not bounce back from this. This will
That's
be
okay.
Skyrim?
This will be the last.
Skyrim?
Yeah. Skyrim
Well,
gets
yes.
love because
Yes.
of the ability to mod it.
Yeah, Skyrim. Yep.
Because honestly, if you play Skyrim, it don't play out the way you think it does. Skyrim has so many problems. There's times when you can play Skyrim and the game won't finish.
Skyrim was like broken. I bought it like for $50 on PS3, and it did not work. It was not compatible with my PS3.
I've had times where I couldn't finish it and had to start a whole game. I had 930 something hours in Skyrim, and then
But we still consider-
my PS3 died.
But we still consider Skyrim one of the most Skyrim's never going to. Well, first of all, they don't let it die because they keep
They
on
don't.
re-releasing it,
The way Skyrim gets Anniversary
Can't
Edition,
knock
and
the
we
hustle.
keep buying it.
they're like, hey,
I think I have 3 copies of Skyrim somewhere.
they're like, I got this tinfoil Skyrim.
But we forgive Skyrim, right? We forgive. At the time, we
think-
still consider Skyrim to be one of the greatest games of all time. Every list, Skyrim
It's
will
like
be there.
watching a famously bad movie.
No, because Skyrim is not a bad movie.
It's not. Story's phenomenal. There's
It's a great
moments-
game.
When the game works, it's a phenomenal game. But I think because of the, I'm trying to sound not problematic. It's in the way that like a celebrity Morgan Freeman. I'm gonna just say it. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is a phenomenal actor. Despite the fact that if you look at this man's teeth, they are wild.
What does that have to do with
Just
his
saying.
acting?
Just saying, right? That's how I would you'd say, what does that have to do with Skyrim? Like, what does that have to do with the game?
Oh, boy,
So
where are you going?
what are you
Forrest
talking
Whitaker
about?
has an Academy Award.
What are you talking
But
about? How
it's
are
his
you?
eye. It's a
How
glaring
are
thing.
you?
It's a thing
How
that
are
you
you
like.
comparing
Look,
that to
I have
Skyrim?
nothing
I'm
to say.
saying
What are Skyrim's
flaws.
that are like?
Like I said, there's missions that you can't finish. There's times if you interact with the world that next thing you know, your game crashes. Those are
That's quite significant versus somebody's eye.
no. I'm saying
what?
We're talking about functionality versus what somebody was born with.
there was no other thing that came to my mind.
That was rough.
Remove, like I said, cancel me if you need to. But it is.
Morgan Freeman doesn't. That's Morgan Freeman's teeth. the boy can't control the fact that that's how he was born.
Just saying.
Bethesda can change the fact of that their game doesn't work. So I don't know about that.
But not
one.
anymore. They can't go back and fix it.
You really about to say this man's eye is like Skyrim? Skyrim's bugs.
Goodness. You said that right, not me.
That's wild.
But yeah, I think
wild.
I feel like eventually what has to happen is the gaming community,
Y'all?
yes, has to really be verbal and like, we're not buying this until.
You can't be verbal. You got to be financial, right?
Right.
I feel like Cobb says this a lot of times where it's just like, vote with your dollars.
To go, vote with your dollar. Like, you really can't be like, we not putting up the money for this. Because I know.
At 50 to $80 a pop.
There's been a lot of games that like get DOA, like Dead on Arrival, when they get announced. Like, everyone puts in their pre-order, then the developers will be like, hey, it's going to take a little bit longer to get this done.
Boom, boom, boom.
And the next thing you know, everyone cancels their pre-orders. Starfield, that happened, where they were like, oh, we're supposed to drop last year.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, stuff's happening. And everybody's like, well, you're not getting my money.
But that's why they don't really say when games are coming out anymore.
As they shouldn't. However,
They used
games
to.
like Call of Duty, it's dropping every year. Games like 2K and Madden and all those, they're dropping every year.
But we don't really talk a lot when it disappoints us because it's kind of what we expect. So the bar is low, right?
Does Madden disappoint?
Apparently, for
Do
Madden
they even
players,
do they even review Madden anymore?
I don't
Why
think
isn't
so.
Madden
but
not an
people
update
who-
anymore?
People who play Madden complain about it all the time because they're like, this is the same game
It's
that I paid.
because Madden should
Honestly,
be a
it's a
supported
football
game.
game.
It should be a
know
game for-
what
game
is
of
supposed to
service.
Yes.
change about Madden.
I was about to say, like, it's a football game. What
They
do you
should
want
just
to
make
change?
they should make it like an MMO. Where it's like
I
you
agree.
just buy the copy and you get expansions.
100%. You
There's
just
a certain
update
have
the
the same-
if you
'Cause that's
literally
essentially
just
what it
update the
is.
rosters every year, you just pay for the roster.
And they can do that daily.
yeah.
They could.
And they would make a lot more money with all
they
that
won't.
pay to freaking EA in there.
Part of it is the contracts with the players. Somebody be on the front cover and all that other stuff.
think
So
well, that question was asked before, and I think the issue was that
used to be a
to
huge
use to use Madden's name, they have to re-up every year. And so as long as
So it had to
it's
be
an
called
actual
something
human being.
else.
Yeah, they have like a monopoly on the NFL too. Like
Yeah.
there
There's
can
no
be no
football
other
games.
football game. It's crazy. It's wild.
well, NFL 2K happened for a long time, but there was just
yeah, there was
they weren't
there was
making the
2K,
same- they
yep.
weren't making the same level of money. So
Yeah,
they
and-
shut that
yeah.
down.
It's like, who's gonna fight that?
There's no
title?
more live NBA Live.
Well, yeah,
Remember
that was-
NBA Live
yeah.
dominated?
Yeah,
NBA
I remember.
Live was the dominant. It wasn't 2K. It was NBA Live, and
And
it
then
was
2K
Madden.
came on the scene and it was better.
yeah.
But at
But I
first when
stopped playing
2K,
sports games.
but when 2K first came out, the first few years of it, nobody
No,
bought
it's
it.
trash.
Yeah.
But
It was really like NBA Live 2009 or 2010 that
'cause
really
you-
was like
you
no.
had to stop paying. One, the dunk contest in real life was no longer as exciting anymore.
At all.
And
It was some
so-
political stuff going on in the background.
Well,
Somebody
yeah,
just was like live.
but NBA Live had the dunk contest.
They bought
So
all the
that's
people
why
that was working on
everyone was, like,
live.
excited
EA
for
bought
that.
all the people that was working on live probably.
Because then you had like the dunk stick or whatever, where you could like actually creatively do your dunks in the game, and I think they got rid of that in NBA Live, and it was just like, wah, 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 wah.
I don't know why
And the software
things like
developers.
NBA Street,
NBA
went
Streets,
away.
that was great.
SSX.
Def
Because
Jam,
they don't want you to
Def
have
Jam.
fun.
Redemption,
Was that the fighting game
Redemption,
with rappers?
Vendetta,
Vendetta.
Oh,
Sorry.
Def Jam,
Vendetta. Yeah, the
Def Jam Vendetta,
Yeah,
and then Def Jam.
Streets of New York.
Streets
or
of New
something?
York.
Streets of New York was
those were the
those are
games.
great.
I'm sorry. Now I'm talking about something.
NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz
Where they
was
were
fun.
like
Blitz
beat
was
each
fun.
other. It was like blood.
It was violent.
It was violent. yeah,
Yeah,
very violent.
I remember
NBA Jam.
Yeah,
Remember?
I used to play
he's on
hockey
fire.
just to be like getting into the fights just because.
I want to go to a hockey game so bad. I've never
I
been.
don't.
Man,
Just once.
it's funny how those sports games that just never quite break through, like the hockey games and the golf. Well, the golf games are niche.
I mean, MLB the show.
Oh, those are
gets
niche.
Money.
They're niche.
FIFA is the goat.
I mean,
It's
yeah, people
broken.
love FIFA.
FIFA be broken every year though.
Every
Remember
year.
Fight Night
Fight night.
Fight night.
I remember my uncle was on that.
in
Yeah.
it
Really cool. Yeah.
as a character?
Yeah.
Really?
Joe Frazier. He was in it. He was
I didn't know that Joe Frazier was your uncle.
I feel like we've talked about this.
What are we talking?
When have we ever mentioned?
Oh.
What are we saying here?
Not on camera.
We've never talked about
I didn't
it
know
on
that Joe
camera?
Frazier
He's
was
your
your
blood relative.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Speaking
Good
of
job.
blood
it was,
relatives,
It was something. It was something.
Oh, because you had a lot of cousins named. No, wait, no, that's the other
I
one.
have a lot of cousins named Frazier. And Joe.
I was thinking about
George Foreman.
Yes, all of his kids are named George Foreman.
Yeah, no, my uncle was a great guy. He was.
Yeah. That's what's up.
It's unfortunate that he did the Rocky statue got more praise than. Yeah,
That is
that's
wild.
that's a weird
A
thing.
literal fictional character.
Yeah, it's wild that he got a statue before my uncle did.
No, I love Rocky, but
Sure.
still,
So, but
fictional character.
fictional character
He got a statue.
before the world champion. But
Nick Foles got a statue before Joe Frazier.
yeah, you're not wrong. My cousins fought tooth and nail to get him a statue, and I'm glad it happened. And he's got murals and stuff.
That's what's up.
The gym, they lost the gym unfortunately on Broad Street. But,
Yeah.
It's weird.
That was really wild. That's why when I learned that gym went away, I was like, but it was
the staple.
the
It was a
Bulls.
staple.
Yeah.
Right. Should have been a landmark. But Fight Night was fun. I remember buying Fight Night just to be to play as my uncle, and then realizing oh, they didn't make him the best character. I was I
Fight
see
Night
what
was
this is.
I was
played
never
Fight Night
disappointed. Crash Bandicoot.
Do you remember the wrestling games?
Some of the wrestling games.
Wrestling games. WrestleMania, some of those
Oh,
were kind of fire.
Those are great.
Oh yeah. I was. I thought
Yeah,
you. I thought you were saying a Crash Bandicoot wrestling game. I was like, what?
I like the Nintendo. I like the Nintendo 64 and the
The
GameCube
Nintendo
ones.
64 ones
Oh.
were fire.
So, like I said, I'm not a huge video game expert or anything like that, right? I do play them, as you say, but Nintendo seems to never have these issues.
they do.
They do.
They do.
Okay.
Oh, with games
Yeah.
flopping? Well, they
No,
because
not
breaking.
flopping, like breaking.
Oh, because
Like
they
Mario and
because
Zelda.
they
Yeah.
know they know their brand. They don't branch out too much.
Yeah.
When they
don't-
do branch out, they get reminded to stay in their lane.
Yeah, but it's never like
don't know.
them. It's them
The
allowing.
Mortal Kombat
That
1
don't-
port.
That's just a port. That's what it was. A port. It was not.
But you saw it.
I did, but it
was
wasn't
ugly.
developed for the Switch.
Literally. it's
Yeah, I
ugly.
feel like the Switch don't.
The Switch
miss.
doesn't
when
make
it's
mistakes.
Yeah.
No, it was an Nintendo brand,
Yeah.
in-house made
Nintendo. When
game.
Nintendo does Nintendo,
I mean, I'm still gonna get that Mario Wonder.
I got it.
Yeah,
I
you
can't
got
wait.
It's really great. It's really fun.
All I have to do is beat the last level of Odyssey. I'm on to Wonder.
Yeah,
Nintendo's timeless. They know their brand very well. They're not.
I'm
They
not
know their
buying the
identity.
Pokemon game, but that's just me.
Yeah. Now Pokemon's
that
its own
was-
little.
Sorry,
Why?
Sterling. Sorry.
Pokemon its own. Pokemon has its own identity.
What was the one that Acrius or something like that?
Arceus.
Arceus.
Yeah.
I had fun with it for a while, and then it just kind of teetered off.
I feel like I'd be lost if I started playing. Nah.
I
What,
felt.
Pokemon?
I
the
tried to.
newest
So-
thing, I'd be like,
I was
My,
wait,
my
wait,
girls
what?
watch the Pokemon app, right? There'd be Pokemon on there, and they'd be like, "Who's that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Daddy is too old."
Pokemon
Right.
is just evolving into.
I stopped after Pokemon 200 or something.
Yeah,
That's not true.
After
I
the
know
first,
maybe 300s.
Not 158, but
The 152, yeah, 151 actually.
I was there for
Gold and Silver?
Cyndaquil and and
Yeah,
the rest
Gold
of
and
them.
Silver.
Yeah.
But after that,
Wait, you weren't there for Chikorita?
Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and
Oh, yeah,
the
Crocodile.
water guy.
The third one was
Crocodile.
Yeah, Totodile.
Yeah, Totodile.
Totodile.
The third one was good too, though. Who was
Sorry,
the
Grandpa.
Yeah. I guess that's the third
that's the
generation
crocodile
after that.
Pokemon. I like that
Crocodile.
one.
Yeah, that was
Totodile?
second gen.
Yeah, so
gen was
third
good,
gen,
too.
third gen, I was like,
Who was third gen?
I went all the way up to Violet. Not Violet. That was the most recent ones. I went all the way up to
No, there's Crystal.
I think
White.
the last
That
one
was
I
a
had
off.
was
That
Crystal.
was like Gen 2, but that was like a side. That was like a.
a third.
The
Gen 2,
yellow
Gen 3, yeah.
of Gold and Silver.
I think I got up to Pokemon Black or one of those.
Oh, you got far.
Those are fun, man. Game
yeah.
Boy's a lost art.
They were something.
That was an era.
I thought, honestly, growing up, I was going to be I'm going to have me a Game Boy while I'm on commuting to work and all of this stuff. No.
Pulling out
No.
a Switch on the way to work just feels
Unsafe.
dumb.
It
Juvenile.
feels unsafe.
I mean, I guess it depends on how
It
long
does
your
feel
ride is.
juvenile. It's like, let me wait till I get
I'm like,
home.
I just play Candy Crush on my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, phones have eliminated. Yeah, oh yeah, Mudkip, Trico. Yeah, they were. That was Gen 3.
Well, on that note, what about a quest item?
We got a quest item.
Because we've reached the end of the
We
episode.
have reached the end of the episode. It was going to be, I really tried. I was going to have an ice ball floating in here, and it was going to be this. That when you take it out, it gives you, the eye gives you a dad joke. That
Okay.
that you just have ready on hand. Mm-hmm. To either ease the tension of your enemies or to raise the morale of your friends. So A flask of dad jokes.
A flask or a jar?
A jar of dad jokes.
Jar of dad jokes.
Jar of dad jokes. Not a jar of dirt, because Jack Sparrow already got that. So
Dad joke jar.
See? Dad jokes. I even made the producer. That's all he did.
A kerfuffle.
So,
a knee slapper. A knee
don't
scraper?
forget, if you're watching this, it's because our producer was like, we should share this episode. So you're welcome. But if you see this episode later.
Oh, this is live?
This is live.
Hey, what's up,
all
y'all?
the way live. This is wild. We are at the end of the episode. You saying that?
I would have turned up.
Don't forget that if you are seeing this episode after we posted it a Friday from now, join the Patreon.
Lord willing.
Mm-hmm.
May the gods be gracious.
Right. Join the Patreon. That way you get to see these episodes live and unedited and then be like, what are they talking about? Why are they doing this? But as we always like to say here, y'all have a blessed night. Peace.
Deuces.
Bye.
Do you have time for bonus content?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, if you want to keep talking, we can keep talking.
I was going to ask what y'all expectation level is for the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that's coming out this Friday.
Low. If it's on Peacock, they don't care about it.
Yeah.